Oh, yeah. I'd like to welcome my brother back for another episode of Athletes Connection. In case you don't know, it's Cecil McNair, my partner in crime, my brother from another. How you doing again?
Man, I'm good, man. Good. It's good to see my bro.
I let you off the hook last time, man. I think you let me too.
Yeah. I did.
So I think the last time we was talking about our vehicles, man.
Listen, man, listen. All right. Oh, hands down. So I'm gonna start off with mine first because that's what we had in school. That's what we had in high school. That was our. So it was a Chevy Blazer. I think it was like a 1980.
80 something.
Like an 88, it's either 88, 89, red and black. So we used to be in the dually now. We called it the dually. Listen, we did so many things. We tried to put speakers in the back.
Oh, that's my story.
So we did so many things in the dually. But one thing we always had to do was we had to be careful with the gas needle because the gas needle didn't go all the way to E. It started at a fourth of a tank. So if you think you had a fourth of a tank, you didn't have a fourth of the tank.
Oh my God.
So you had to really pay attention. Every time we got the fourth of a tank, I used to be like, bro, we gotta stop. We gotta go put some gas in the car. That's it.
How much is gas, see?
Oh, bro, gas was like,
we used to be scraping up $5.
Yeah, $5. Like $5 to get us a 3/4 of a tank, like easy. Like now it's ridiculous. I don't even want no car now. But back then that's what we rolled that. Then a couple times, I don't know if a lot of the young kids won't know this, but we used to have this security thing that prevent people from stealing your car. So it was called the club.
It wasn't no alarm. It was the club.
It was the club. It ain't had no alarm. It was the club. So you used to have to put that on your steering wheel and lock it so nobody could turn your steering wheel or whatever like that. But we didn't really use it for that. We had to take the club because the alternator would act up sometimes. So what we had to do is one of us had to park the trunk. One of us would have to go out, find the alternator. One of us had to turn the key. The other one had to hit the alternator and make it crank up. And then we rolling again. So
we used to get it on.
That's how we used to do. So
my dually story. So we ride. I asked my brother, I said, hey man, you want some speakers in here?
I said, yeah, let's do it.
So I go in the house. My dad get rid of some old stereo speakers. So I take the stereo speakers out my dad's house. I put them in the back of the dually because it's the first type of SUV. So you ain't need no trunk. We put the speakers in the back. So I run some extra speaker wire. We open his back speakers. We run the wire from the speakers to the speakers. And we hit it hard for about a half a day.
We bumping. I'm talking about we bumping. And then on top of that, to add to that, we bumping some stuff. You supposed to have an amp and all that. I'm talking. We bumping hard. We bumping back in the day. We used to bump Mystical, all that bass. Andre and Big Boy, like all this bass trick, all this bass stuff. Like you supposed to have.
Oh my God!
We was bumping it on house speakers, like getting it in.
So we kill the radio.
Blow it out.
I remember your dad come outside. Radio work fine. We go. What y'all do? So we look at the back. We done ran illegal speakers, no amp. We killed it, draining all the water.
All the battery, everything.
All the water out the head unit. The whole head unit in this car. But does it beat cheaper?
No, man. The Yoda, man, listen. Toyota, man.
So
That was not.
I get a 1990 Toyota Camry.
And this in college, dog. We on the college
In
time
college.
frame now.
So yeah, the Toyota Camry that took us through everything.
Yeah.
Toyota Camry had its day. So we got the same starter issues. Well, my starter's so bad. My starter's so bad, I got tired of having to tap on it by myself because he in school that I put a push button.
Yeah. Switch it up.
Yeah. So you click the button, it jumps the circuit while I turn the key, so I ain't got to lift my hood no more.
Hey, listen. Now it don't. And I know a lot of y'all thinking it done changed because we went to college. No. It didn't change. It didn't change. It got way worse because now we done got into it with TVs, amps inside the car, all kind of stuff. Like, so it got way worse. We just got a little bit more sophisticated and understood how we need to hook stuff up as we blowing stuff. So
yeah.
so it didn't change.
So we at the mall, Christmas shop. Come out the mall. We got bags on top of bags. We in the parking lot, Sawgrass Mills. Anybody know you South Florida, that's the mall you go to, Sawgrass Mills Mall.
Yeah.
We out here in the parking lot. I go to turn the key.
Not that.
We get no click. Look around, he look at me. Hit my little push button, try to crank it again. Nothing. Go outside, man. You know what you got to do.
Yeah.
He out there beating and tap. Nothing. Come to find out, my battery dead.
Yeah.
Why is the battery dead? Because we don't hook the illegal 7-inch flip-out head unit TV in the car with a PlayStation connection. And forgot to turn it off when we went in the mall.
We went in the mall. All wrong, man. We in the see. This is what I'm saying. Like it got worse than before it got better. Before it got better.
Yeah, we finally appreciated when you finally when you finally got your car after graduation, man.
That was kind of like both of our gifts right there, because
man,
it ain't take 24 hours before we put that thing on the road.
Yeah, I think we was down on South Beach soon.
Right,
and I was a month or two behind you. I would have got mine.
Yeah, we was cause I had graduated May 15th. I graduated.
Yeah.
No, my bad. It was December when I graduated.
Yeah.
But
you got the car in May.
But when I got the car in May. That's what it was. I got the car in May.
So it was Memorial Day weekend.
It was right before Memorial Day. We put that thing right on the road. $395.
Yeah, we was headed down there, hanging out the window, talking noise, bumping that Rick Ross. I think that Ross was in heavy rotation.
Acting a straight fool.
Oh man! So I think last time we talked about your journey as you got into your head coach situation. So right now, I just want to share, like, there's a lot of the young brothers right now don't even understand what it is to be recruited or how to get there, how to market yourself, how to carry yourself. Can you share some light with that, just helping guide some of these young athletes?
Oh, well, number one, your grind is going to speak for itself. Your players going to speak for itself. And most of all, your books are going to speak for yourself. Some of the things that I try to curb my guys with it and trying to give them a little bit of this recruiting game is, number one, you're always going to be looked at. You're always going to be scrutinized. So the certain things that you do, especially now for guys now that the social media age is very big. So the things that you put out, you have to be very cognizant that you have college coaches following you. You have other college players following you. And that's not about happenstance. That's because they're trying to make sure that what you're doing off of the field is going to line up with what you're doing on the field. Another thing is, and I know it's big now, it really wasn't as big when we was coming up, when we was in high school, all these stars and who got all these offers and all of that. I get it. You know what I mean? I get it. You're excited to be a 4-star. You're excited to be a 5-star. And I'm not knocking the guys that's 4s and 5s. You know, they grind to get to that position that they're at. You know, and they were able to be seen. But for me and all of these offers and everything, when we was coming out, it was just we playing ball. Like, we didn't really know who really got offered. The only reason you really knew is because they was on your team. Like, so we didn't find out till signing day when we look in the paper who going where, or if we had that connection with a player, you know, at a different school, then we would find out from there. But like, I think just guys, I call it offer watching. Like, you looking at the other guy and this guy has 4 offers and you have none. This guy over here has 3 offers and you have none. My thing is this. Once again, I went on no offers. Like, I had interest, I had no offers. You understand what I'm saying? So for me, I just think you just have to not get so caught up in what the other guy has.
You just said something that you said you had interest and no offers. And I think a lot of them understand the difference.
Oh, it's a difference. Oh, it's a big difference. Interest, man, you know, coach could call you, you know, now they calling right now because, you know, they can't get out. But a coach can call you and say all the good things and never give you a formal offer. And some guys think that that's an offer because a coach is calling me, so they get their hat hung on. Oh, I spoke to the DB coach at Florida. Okay, you spoke to him, but that don't mean that's where you're going. Like, I think for my athletes, I just kind of put it in perspective. My guys, I put it in perspective for them because I know what it did to me as far as having all this interest, but then never really having nothing come across that at the time it needed to come. I know how deflating it was for me to see all my guys up on the banner in front of the media center with their pictures, my picture up there too, but all they got everywhere that they going up on the banner. Like, so, and I'm not even going to the ceremony because I don't have no letters of intent. So for me, it's just trying to keep them laser focused on what they need to do to be able to get those offers or get those commitments from schools to be able to play. I think that doing that, you keep yourself out of going through that roller coaster of that up and down emotion, like, because you're watching everybody else and you saying to yourself, when it's gonna happen for me. But I think if you just continue to grind, and once again, you got to understand it has to be in the plan. Like, you can't just pop up junior year and say, oh, senior year I'm gonna get top Power 5 school. Why you ain't do that as a freshman? You see? So it's a lot that has to go into that. And I tell my guys that all the time. I say, listen, you all have to start your grind and your why early. So if you come in as a sophomore and now you want to play football, you got to figure out why you trying to do football. Because this game is not for the timid, it's not for the weak, man. When you get to college, it will chew you up and spit you out. Because these coaches' livelihoods, and this is not little league, it's not high school, because most of your high school coaches, you know, and especially in Florida, most of your head high school coaches are on campus teaching in some capacity. So you go to college, they're getting fired and losing, you know, jobs, actual jobs and livelihood because of a recruit that they may have gotten that's not panning out. So that you have to, man, you have to push everything in on the table on yourself and make that work for you, because you just got to get that part of it, man. So the recruiting can be very treacherous. It's glorified for some, for others it's not. And that's what I'm saying. Each person's path and journey is going to be different. Everybody's not going to have 20 some offers to choose from. You may have one. Everybody's not going to sign in February. You may sign in June. And so at the end of the day, what is the bottom line? Am I going to school to play ball?
Yeah.
Because like I said before, I feel, and it could be a DB thing, you know. It probably is a DB thing. I feel like I was the best DB on the field. It wasn't nothing nobody could do to me. You know what I mean? Like, don't get me wrong, I had my days where I got burnt. But at the end of the day, I feel like I'm the best one on the field. So I'm gonna take that same attitude when it comes to trying to acquire the offers and the commitments from the schools. I still feel like I'm the best one, but I'm going to grind as though I am. So those are two things, two key things. I think is the social media part of it. That is very big now. A lot of athletes' lives, they can't put the phones down, type of thing.
Oh yeah, definitely.
So, and then just seeing all the boys they played against or the boys they play with, they coming up with big time offers, and you figuring like, where am I at? You in the plan, but you can't worry about everybody else, man. You can't worry about what everybody else getting. You gotta stay true to what you're doing. Know that it's working, and it's gonna work out.
Definitely. I tell that to my son now as he sits and, you know, he's waiting patiently, and you know the struggle, you know the story. Especially with him at the cornerback position, it seems that if you don't meet certain measurables at the end of the day, they're going to play the game with you as long as possible. And at the end of the day, no matter what your speed is or your film, at the end of the day, they're looking at certain things because, like you said, coaches' jobs are on the line. So that's one thing that we do have to understand. It is a business.
Yeah. And one other thing, and I know it pertains a little bit. Well, no, it doesn't. It pertains to football, but it pertains to all the sports. Listen, it's one thing that I found out later on, well, my senior year in high school, that I found out is something that it's two things. Something that a lot of the kids now don't do. They don't play two positions. I end up playing corner, and I was just telling nephew this. I end up playing corner one game. And the one game that it was an all-star game. The reason why I did is because we only had one corner. But I wouldn't have felt comfortable enough to go play it if I didn't do or take one-on-ones and practice seriously. Mm-hmm. Like listen, I don't see enough of it now, but when we was in school, we had eight cats go D1. 8. One ended up going, well, 2 got close. 3, my bad, 3 went to the league or were right there in training camps. But when we had practice. I mean, legitly, it was I crossed this line, bro, we got to get it today. It don't matter how it's gonna happen. You're gonna have to run through me, catch over me, I'm gonna have to hit you. That's how hard we practice. So when we got to the game, oh my goodness, it was fun. It was like, we know what's coming. But to get back on playing it, like nephew was able to play safety last year. Now he's going back to corner where he originally started from. But you gotta think forward on this. When a recruiter comes to see you, they're gonna ask. They're first gonna ask about the grades. They're gonna ask, do you play another sport? Then they're gonna ask, does he play another position? And for me, one-on-ones to me was just like being at corner by myself. So when it came time to go play it, I'm like, Coach, I got it. You ain't saying, even though it's an all-star game, so you got the best of the best. It didn't matter because in practice, we practiced up against the best of the best. Jakari Wallace was probably one of the fastest receivers in the county when we came out.
Yeah.
And then you had Rod, was was a taller receiver, but ran good routes. Like it was day in and day out with us. But being able to be confident in playing two different positions, I am way more valuable in the recruiting game because I'm not just one. Instead of me being a cornerback, I'm a DB. So now DB consists of a safety or a corner. I could be either or. You see what I'm saying? So even if you guys are receivers, you go up against a DB every day. You go up against a DB every day. And if you really think about this, it's going to make you better receiver. If I can learn what they do, when they do it, and why they do it, I guarantee you can go and play DB, hands down. That's why I was able to transition to even playing tight end / receiver when a lot of our tight ends went down. That's because, number one, I know everybody says DBs don't have good hands. But I'm here to tell you that I should have had 13 interceptions my senior year. At the beginning, I didn't have good hands. I'm just gonna be honest. I dropped four interceptions in the first 2 games. But once I start treating it like, all right, I gotta catch the ball, because now I'm putting myself in position to make the plays. I just ain't making them. So now I started treating everything. We had a drill called the gauntlet that the receivers would go through. We would literally go through the gauntlet as DB. So we started treating it like, listen, we need to be receivers over here too, because we going with 8 interceptions, 4 a pick in 4 straight games. So that's what I'm saying. Like, open your mind. Don't be closed-minded and say, oh, I'm just a corner. That's what I am. I'm a corner. Okay, but it's 35 corners in your state. So let's be real. If I'm able to transition to a safety spot and be able to play it at a level where it's good enough, a recruiter is going to value you much more, because now you're not stuck in as one position. Mm-hmm. So if somebody goes down and they have multiple injuries in the position, you're able to slide there and now end up playing as a freshman instead of waiting till your junior year to try to start. Yeah. So even in basketball, a 1 and a 2 guard ain't nothing different. Yeah. Ain't nothing really different. One just got it in the hand coming down the court. But if you're able to transition and be able to do both, you're much valuable, man. And that's one thing that I want athletes to understand. I want especially all athletes to understand, man, is broaden your horizon. Don't get stuck in one position. And then when you go to school, they're asking you to sit 2 years because they loaded. If I could transition to something else or transition to something that's just like that, and I'm able to play, because at the end of the day, that's what you want to do as a football player. You want to play. Like it
ain't just football. I think it's any sport.
It's any sport. You want to play. You, especially if you come from where you've been on varsity for 2 years in a row. You've been a starter. You want to play. Period. You know what I mean? So at the end of the day, making yourself valuable to the recruiter and being a DB, being a wide receiver that can go inside and outside, being a back that can get in the slot. Just make yourself more marketable, man, as an athlete.
I see a trend now where when you're not getting your way in this new era now, and you're not playing. Yeah. Your parents or your advisors get involved in this transferring. What's your take on that?
Well, I give personal experience. Going to West Virginia State, being a 2-year starter on varsity, and being my sophomore year, being thrust into playing safety in a playoff game, in a semifinal playoff game, you know, so I had legitimately been on varsity almost 3 years. Going to West Virginia State and having to basically start over, meaning I'm at the bottom of the totem pole. I got a prove myself all over again was kind of tough for me at the beginning, toward the end of the year, because I felt that I had done enough. I felt I'd done enough to be a starter, better yet, a player. So I was real frustrated, to the point where I was really like ready to come home. It wasn't because I was sick or anything like that. I was frustrated just because I felt like I should have been playing and I wasn't playing. But my dad told me something that I've always remembered. You have to wait your turn. Like sometimes you have to wait your turn. It doesn't mean that you're not a player. It doesn't mean that you don't understand what's going on. But it's just sometimes you have to be in that holding pattern to really understand what you're supposed to do, and how you're supposed to act when you get it. Because I think when a lot of it is just given to you, thrown to you, you really don't know how to act with it. You really don't know how to be humble with the position that you're in. You're more apt to stick your chest out. But when you've had to sit and really be grinded and really been beaten in the aspect of mentally, and been broken to understand, when I get in this spot, it's not about, I'm gonna cherish it more. I'm gonna still work more. So I think for me that was a big part of my growing up too, as just a man. Everything is not given to you when you want it. Everything is not thrown at you. Some things is going to require you to do the work to get to where you are. So for me, I think that was a major turning point in my career and in my life. So that's something that you have to understand when you're going to these schools too, is that I may not be first out the gate, and that's okay. It's nothing wrong with that. But when your time comes, you need to be ready and prepared, so that when you get thrown in there, you can grab it and don't give it back. I mean, that's the whole thing. You want to seize your opportunity and don't give it back.
Totally agree with all that. Totally agree with all that. I remember, I think it was during your second year, I was hoping you could have came down and transferred down to FAU. We were a new school football program.
Yeah.
Some more opportunity we was kind of looking for, and we had been done with my college roommate, Jarrell Terry.
Yeah.
Came in from a school and walked on and found his way in scholarship and started. And it's something I had always seen. And I know we talked about it, but I just never knew why it never kind of took place. But, things happen for a reason. With that being said, how does this affect now with this transfer portal, the high school seniors looking for opportunities late?
I think that what's been going on now though is a lot of the smaller schools closing. A lot of the smaller schools closing or dropping their football team. I think that's had a way more effect than just the transfer portal, because the transfer portal, you get the guys, that's either D1 that's trying to transfer somewhere else and go somewhere else. So to me, they're already pretty much inked. And wherever they're going to decide to go, I think they're pretty much inked. I think it's more of the guys that get dropped from the schools and things like that have the issue. So the transfer portal is something that I feel like it's really college guys, but I don't think it has a major effect on the high school guys, for the simple fact that depending on when you transfer, you may only have 2 years, 3 years, things like that. So
I see that we have an intro in the building. Hey, sis.
Okay.
Oh man. Well, with that, how do you now? When as a coach, sometimes we find ourselves in that father figure role for the players that we coaching. How
Mhm.
do you now adjust during this time of COVID when you don't have that daily contact with them to keep your eye out? Just make sure they're in the right setting. Because I know for myself as a head coach, you still wonder for the ones
Yeah.
who already hit or miss, are they okay?
Yeah.
Do they make the right decision today? How are you handling that, not being able to physically see or meet with your players during this time?
Well, one of the things I've done is I've kind of set up a schedule of my players, and on certain days, I either shoot a text or a call, so they hear from me at least once a week. Um, about 2 weeks ago, we start having our team meetings, our defensive, offensive meeting. So that's another a touch we get to do with them as far as on Zoom and things like that. So just trying to get to those guys that are on the edge, borderline, especially in school. I tried not to enamor them with any football stuff during the time these past couple of weeks, about 8 weeks. I tried not to do anything football related because I wanted them to really focus on their school online and making sure that they were completing the assignments and turning stuff in. So I didn't want anything football wise to even be thought of at that point. I just wanted them to focus on that aspect. So now school getting ready to be done Friday, and we are out on Wednesday. So now we can get into the more of the football things. But man, just like I got 50 sons, you know what I mean? Plus my JV. Um, they come and talk to me. I have an open door policy. They know me. Like I'm a very um, open book when it comes to certain things. I'm gonna tell them when they're wrong. I'm gonna tell them when they're right. I'm gonna chastise them. I'm gonna reward them. And I think just as a coach, man, that's something that you have to do. You have to get that relationship with your athletes because you're gonna ask them to do certain things. So being having that balance of being a reprimand but being a praise at the same time, and do some radical stuff like a couple times last year, guys got interception, and I'm up there chest bumping. I'm talking about boom, let's go. You know what I mean? Like they want to see their coach. They want to see their coach. In an environment where like, okay, coach, cool, coach, blah, 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 because now anything that they have an issue with, they're gonna come to you with it because they know Coach genuine or Coach real. You know what I mean? But
Definitely.
they know I have a flip side too, and it can get real crucial. So just having that balance, man, of just them understanding, man, I was school first, and then we're gonna work on the rest of this. The rest of this to me is a piece of cake, but definitely I have those bubble guys, and just touching them once a week, not twice a week, I think allows them to say, all right, man, coach here, coach ain't just leave me on the wayside. So for me, that's a big thing, man. I'm a player's coach, if you want to say, like to a certain extent. You know what I mean? So they just like I couldn't ask for a better team, man. They give me inspiration at times because that's what I need, and they know sometimes when I ain't feeling the best, so they try to give me some inspiration, and it's vice versa. So
How did you take with this time with your COVID seniors that were looking for those late opportunities? I know for me as a basketball coach, I was still trying to get seniors opportunities late at school. Some of the kids that you would have kind of tended to after spring break, and we never got a chance to even get that. So it's like
yeah,
now things are going to the virtual visits and so on and so forth. how are you doing with connecting with schools to still try to find those last minute opportunities? You know, those feel good stories that those kids that you get signed that come back and bring their degree to you, that come
Yeah,
back and say, hey, coach, thanks for finding this opportunity for me.
yeah.
That may be that first one in their family to go to college. How are you taking this time to still be that middleman or that conduit to be able to connect point A to point B and give somebody an opportunity?
Well, right now, man, I've been blessed. Right now, I'm working on my 2021 guys. All of my 20 guys are pretty much headed in the path that they want to go. Whether it's the service or they just gonna go to school, just to go to school and not play ball. Um, I had the opportunity right before we got out around my February that 5 of my guys were offered by one school, and he really, really, really wanted them to the point where the head coach came down and they took 30 minutes to talk to all 5 of them. So for me,
That's
it's about
awesome.
it's about fit too. You know, everybody is not D1. Everybody is not D1. But there's a place for you to play ball. If you want to have that college experience or you want to have that experience and on the back of your helmet it say NCAA, you got an NCAA sticker. A lot of people can't say they play college ball, no matter where it's at. You know, you don't have to say, "Oh, I played D3 football." You just I play college football. So I, for me, it's about fit with my guys. Like I want you to be able to go be successful, play your butt off, have an opportunity to play, but at the same time get the degree for half of what you was going, at least half or none of what you was going to pay in the first place. So I just try to sit down with them early in the season and really get a pick for where they think they can go, and then have the realistic talk of where they're gonna go. Um, because most, if not all, of your D1 guys are already picked out as juniors. If you really look at it, you got
Mm-hmm.
one or two, that sprout as seniors, and they sprout so quick that they right on top of them.
Come
But
up in the whirlwind. Yep.
right, but for the most part, they're already picked out. Not to say that you can't get that offer, but at some point we have to be realistic. Is it about an offer or is it about going to school? And I think that's where we get it. That's where it gets misconstrued. Like, because I'm not on TV, because I ain't, in the end zone and my mama can see me. I think that's where it gets messed up for the athletes. Is it about an offer or is it about going to school? Like, which one is it? Because for me, it was like, I ain't trying. Both my parents were teachers, right? But I had the mindset that my people not paying for school. Like, okay, we not bad, but we ain't good either. Like, so I'm not trying to. They not paying for school. So whether it was D3 in the Chattahoochee River, if they offered me, or they said, "Hey, we want you to come play football," I'm going. It's no question, because number one, I gotta either carry the legacy or make or start a legacy
Definitely.
of being that person that might have been the first one to graduate from college.
For me, that was the call for me. I just, being the first one in my family to go to college, but a lot of it came from being around you and your family. And like I used to tell you all the time, one of the biggest motivations for me was every time I came to your house, your parents had the degrees on the wall,
Yeah,
but they had them. I don't even know what it was, like in a wood lacquer,
yeah,
and that always caught my eye. And I told your mom that, and I told her a long time ago that was a part of me because it made me realize, hey, you know what? I want that. I
Yeah.
want to be able to look at my house and see my degree. I want to be able to see this. And that's what gave me that drive to go and you know what, put the fear aside. And I think I went ahead and took my testing because nobody had been before me.
Yeah.
And just sitting in your home and looking at those things, and it wasn't just one degree, it wasn't just one diploma. It was diploma after diploma after degree after degree.
Yeah.
Like, you know what? She always just talked about me, education first before everything else. She never asked me, how did your game go? How was this? How was school?
Yeah.
And that for me made a lasting impact. And for me now as a coach, it's an impact. But I
Yeah.
always too make sure when I'm sending a coach or a coach is coming to recruit a kid, coaches come from everywhere.
Yeah.
And I always try to make sure for myself, what's the total cost? What's it going to cost this kid? Is it really a good opportunity for them, or is it a good opportunity for you?
Right.
I'm not trying to send a kid to school where it's going to cost them $30,000 in loans just to go play a lower level basketball. You know what I'm saying? So I always count the cost and make sure that it works for the kid and the family as well.
Right.
And I find myself lately, for some of them, just encouraging the military
Yep.
if it's something they want to do, because I know once you go, school is taken care of.
Right.
What's your thoughts when it comes to that?
Well, to be honest with you, man, my top 2020 guy is going to the Marine. So I have my thing is this, and I always tell him this when we get to the off season. Like, you don't necessarily have to be with me to better yourself. If you're gonna run track, you're gonna wrestle, you're gonna play tennis, you're gonna long as you're doing something, you're making yourself better. So I kind of take it in that retrospect too. It's like you're doing something to make yourself better. Did for me, what I want to do, yes, but that's not what you want to do. So I'm not gonna force that on you. You tell me, Cole, I'm going to the service. I say, okay, I'm gonna come back to you the next day or 2 days after that and reaffirm. You sure you want to go to the service? I said, okay, I'm gonna come back 2-3 days because I want you to understand the decision that you're making. This decision that you're making now, it can't be erased. Like, even when you sign on your name on the letter of intent, it can't. You got to go through some hoops to get this undone. Like, so when you make these decisions, are you making them for your best interest and your family intact? Because
Totally.
these are the things you got to think about. And once again, like I say, most of the guys, most of the athletes are seeing all this on TV. You get what I'm saying? And they're enamored with it. But when that TV go, because at the end of the day, you're gonna stop playing football at some point. Athletics is gonna stop for you at some point. You're no longer going to be a part of the fold in that aspect. So if the TV go off, what do you have? Well, you playing. That's what I'm saying. So you gotta understand what you're trying to do. If that's what you want to do and go to the service, I have no qualms about that. My uncle was in the service.
Well, for me, it's crazy because I was totally against it coming out of high school, and then when I really got here and I became an engineering teacher, it changed my perspective when I really got an understanding of what they really do.
Yeah.
And how they go about it and
Yeah.
what they do for kids that don't have an option or
Right.
don't come from the type of families that can afford, and just understanding what the GI Bill and those different things do for them from the small time of service that they give. But
Right.
you also get a kid that would have had to go to college and have to work a job just
Right.
to pay. So now I can go and directly get paid right now in the military and then go to school for free. And
Right.
when you're putting it in that perspective and you're trying to help these kids really make a conscious decision on their focus moving forward, then it doesn't seem so bad. And I just understood it totally different then, and it made sense now.
Right.
You said,
And then just the jobs in general that's in the service, man. A lot. Cause don't get me wrong, when I came out, I was like, I ain't doing that. I'm not gonna even lie to you, I ain't doing that. I'm not going no service. Cause the first thing you think about is what? I'm going to war.
that's
Be
it.
on the front line.
And that's it. That's for me, for our era, that's what it really was.
That's really was. You know what I mean? Especially, you know, we in our freshman year of college and 9/11 happened.
Oh yeah.
You know what I'm saying? So
it wasn't a place for us.
Right. So for us, it wasn't, you know, a thought.
So speaking
So here you go, man. Here you go. Here you go.
Speaking of that.
Here you go.
You know when I knew war wasn't for me?
Where? Oh, you ain't talking about practice, is it?
Nah. See you. Lunchtime.
Oh, lunch in the lunch joint.
And we thought
yeah, this is before
he thought somebody. Nah, it was after Columbine.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. This when it really started, like all of the school stuff. Yeah.
We're in lunch. We're in lunch, and it's Columbine anniversary week, so we got kids at our school. We had a predominantly black school.
This is when they had a lot of the Gothic. You know,
they used to do the kids coming to school all weekend, black trench coats and black makeup, and okay, so I think after like 3 or 4 days, you know, the kids, they got enough of it. So they call themselves, they're gonna make it hard for this kid this day. So he's outside and he's sitting up in the tree and they start throwing things out. So he jumps down out of the tree and he reaches in his book bag. At this moment, everything from the outside of the school runs in the school. We're laying down on the ground. This is what we do at lunch. We're in the middle of the hallway, just laying down.
But before you get there, because you could tell the best part. But before you get there, we in the hallway and we just chilling. This is lunchtime. They don't do it no more, but they let us in the hallway. We used to lay down
everywhere, wherever we're at, wherever we're in the school.
So the most important part that he leaving now is the doors. So everybody from outside coming inside, right? So you know what's gonna happen to the doors. The doors swing open and hit the wall. Boom.
But it's multiple.
It's multiple doors.
So and the front of our school is 2, 4, 6. It's about 8 sets of double doors. All these doors are swinging open at the same time. They bang stuff. So we're in the middle of the school. All you hear is boom, 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 boom. And you see a stampede of people running to bush. So now we're up. We're running over each other. We run out of the school.
Tell her where you at.
I run. There's construction going on across the street at these apartments. I've jumped 3 gates. I'm across the street with the construction workers in the back of their truck. This fool is in the dually.
I'm in the dually. I'm trying to get out the gate. I'm in the dually. I ain't leaving the dually now.
He in the dually. Crunk up, trying to get on campus.
I'm trying to get on campus. So I called Kitty. I said, man, where you at? He said, I'm over here like construction. I said, man, as soon as I get out of here, I'm coming to get you. Just like that. Oh, listen, man. Listen, that thing was crazy.
Oh, man.
It was crazy, man. It's crazy now to see like how bad it's gotten, you know what I mean? Just with that whole aspect of it, man. But that was fun. That was a fun time.
That time was racing. I mean, just thinking back to that, then you go to 9/11. Our freshman year in college was crazy.
Yeah,
Yeah, that for me, waking up that morning, and I don't never put news on, especially at 18 years old.
Yeah.
Yeah, I cut the TV on the Sports Center. Sports Center not on, something wrong with the TV. I change the channel again.
Yeah.
The news on again. What's going on? Then I see the whole thing going on with that, and it's just major events like that. But totally at that time frame, the military was not an option
Yeah.
for us.
No.
Just the way we were wired, it wasn't even an option. And
Yeah. Yeah.
I still don't think, even without 9/11 happening
Oh
during
yeah.
that
Nah.
time, it wouldn't have been something that I had done. But
Now though.
my,
Yeah.
but you
Now.
remember my experience with the military was a little
But
different because
you was
I was
ROTC.
yeah. Nah,
Yeah.
well, ROTC. I was just I was dating Keisha at the time, who was in
She was ROTC.
yeah, she
Oh,
was
but then she went to the service. That's
she
right.
was in the service, so
That's right. She went to the service.
I kind of knew firsthand, like it
Yeah.
wasn't for me. You don't get to come home when you want to, and
Yeah.
so I kind of had that firsthand experience of dealing with it from a relationship aspect, and
Yeah.
yeah, that was tough for me.
See, I wasn't I think that was the biggest part for me. All the yelling and all that, we got that in football, so
Yeah.
that wasn't gonna phase me. But I just think it was I can't come home. When I say I'm for to come home, I think that was a major issue.
I mean, but it was the same thing for you in West Virginia.
I mean, it was, but I still had
You
if
had
I
your freedom.
need if I wanted to come home, I could have came home.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? That's what I'm saying. Like it was I didn't come home on Thanksgiving and stuff like that because it didn't make no sense for me to when I'm gonna come home 2 weeks after that. So it was just so, and that's another reason why I kind of ran track too, is because it didn't make sense for me to come home for spring break for a week when I gotta fly right back. So we would run track meets in spring break. So just to take up some of that time. So, but yeah, I just it was I couldn't come home when I wanted to. And I wasn't I don't know, I wasn't gonna do all that.
Well, I guess, as we look at it, man, as coaches and mentors, we always try to help kids make the best decisions. And, it's just never the perfect. It's not our life to live. So all we can really do is advise them.
And I try not to place my opinions on them. I kind of, they may ask a coach.
It's hard at times.
It's hard though, yeah. It's hard, especially when you got a guy that like, yo, you can do this. I know you can do this.
Or when you got them going into a situation that you just know
it ain't the best one.
That's not the one for you.
Yeah.
I try to let them live their life, and certain ones they take to you like your own kids,
and so everyone gotta walk their rule.
Yeah.
And it's rough. It's rough. That's the part of it that is tough. That's tough as a coach because you have a insight, on the possibilities and what could happen. And it's like you going down that road, and I'm telling you, man, listen, don't go down that road. But it's like you gonna go down that road. So it's
the same could be said for us in life, though, man. I mean,
yeah,
a lot of times that we ended up, in situations and different things that we probably shouldn't have been in if we just heeded the word otherwise. But sometimes, like you said, the experience is the best teacher.
Yeah.
And sometimes we just gotta let them experience it.
Yeah.
How do you feel that your coaching prepares your players for just life?
Well, one of the things that I do on a day-to-day basis is I try to talk to them about life using football. One of the hurdles that we had to get across was adversity. And like I said before, one of our mantras is being comfortable being uncomfortable. Like that's one of all the things that we say, because you gotta be put in the position. You gotta be able to still do what you need to do when outside don't it's not good, or home may not be the best. You still gotta put your best foot forward and be comfortable with saying, okay, I know this is not the best atmosphere for me, but I'm going to continue to do my school, continue to get yourself out of. You see what I'm saying? To use that as a tool to get out of. So adversity was something that when I first got there, we really didn't understand how to handle it. They didn't understand that you don't fold, you don't tuck your tail and run. Okay, the man across from you is getting the best of you. But at what point are you gonna say that's enough? Like at what point? That's it.
Totally,
I'm
totally
I'm
get
I'm
that, bro.
I'm done with that. Like, you're not for to do this no more. I don't care who you are. I don't care if you the 5-star and I'm a sophomore DN 180 soaking wet. You ain't gonna do this no more. I'm gonna
Yeah.
find a way. I'm gonna find a way to make it happen. And so for me, just that transition in a 1 year period, man, of just really getting to the nitty gritty of adversity and how it can do one or two things. Either it can prepare you or it's going to keep you at the same state. Which one do you want to do? Do you want to prepare through adversity? Because you're going to continue to go through that through the rest of your life. I don't care who you are. You're gonna run up against many walls before you can blink your eye. So what are you going to do? Because at the end of the day, you're young men that are going to have families. And this is how I break it down to them. You're going to have families. So now, it don't it's when the family doesn't doesn't function and fails, they're not going to look at your kids, they're not going to look at your wife or your girlfriend. They're going to look at you and say what you didn't do. You understand what I'm saying? So for me, it's all about them understanding, man. Y'all are going to become men at some point. So certain values have to be instilled. Certain things have to be instilled now because you're getting ready to walk out of these congested four walls of high school and get thrust into college, get thrust into the service. Some going right straight to the workforce. So you're getting
Definitely.
thrust right into it. And it is not what you have been through the first 12 years of school, because everything is done for you. Everything is done on a time frame. Everything is, you ring the bell here, you go to class, you leave class, ring the bell here. You have been conditioned to work on a time frame. Now, when all of that is stripped away, what what do you have? What do you have left? What are you going to do? And most kids don't know what to do after that. That's why it's no plan. It's no plan. They haven't planned anything. So once they come to the realization that, okay, high school is over with.
So,
So,
I'm glad you said that. So before we get ready to close out, as well, we about out our time limit. Uh, you coached for a long time. I'm gonna ask you a tough question.
mhm.
Probably have to think for a second, but you should be able to give me an answer. Out of all your athletes you coach, give me the athlete you feel that you've impacted their life the most.
Ooh,
And you may know mine.
I'm gonna have to say, and most people gonna laugh, but I'm gonna have to say it was a kid at Pinecrest. It was a kid at Pinecrest, and he had it like, and don't give him he was a white boy. I'm just gonna put it out plain as day, because at that time, at Pinecrest, it's a little bit more affluent. You got doctors, lawyers, sons, and car
Mm-hmm.
dealership owners' sons going there. So it's a little bit more affluent. But on the other end, they're not very athletic in football. They were
Mm-hmm.
athletic like swimming and things like that. But it was one kid, man, and I still talk to him to this day, man. It was one kid that he just had it. He could play quarterback, he could play receiver, he could play DB. I mean, he had it, man. And when I got my hands on him, I, it was to the point where I would go to the defensive coordinator and say, listen, You trying to do all of this. Just leave him over here by himself on this one receiver. Whoever you want to put him on, put him over there, and we handle the rest of it. And Coach was like, what you want to do? I was like, Coach, I got it. Just put him over there. He said, go ahead. So I think with him, I impacted him so much. Don't get me wrong, he's still going through some hardships today and some lessons that he's still learning. But a lot of his family dynamic, man, was crazy. It was crazy. And I just used to send him, some little poems and stuff, inspirational stuff that I had over some years, and send it to him, and just, just try to keep him encouraged, man, as much as possible. I'm even trying to get him to come and coach with me now. So it would have to be my person would have to be James Pearson, from Pinecrest, man. That was my guy. Like, he was my guy. Yeah. So I'm trying to think who
James Pearson, if you're hearing this, man, you left an impact on my brother.
Yeah, that was my dude, man.
You know my guy.
Hold on.
You know my guy. Nobody gave him a chance. I made him believe in himself. I made him believe in.
Where you met him at?
At Glades. I made him believe he can accomplish something that nobody gave him a chance to.
Was it Tony?
Tony is number 2 for me on that list.
Okay. All right, so hold on.
Tony's number 2 for me on that list, and that's because I fought tooth and nail to make sure FAU gave him a chance.
Yeah.
He called me and told me thank you when he graduated.
Yeah.
But for me, Matt Lamb.
Okay. Yeah.
Hands down. And I know, like, because just from a physical aspect of it, the grind, and it was self-made through sheer belief. Yeah. I got Matt in the gym and made him believe in his mind that you're the best in the world.
Yeah.
And once I put that into, I look at him now from a business standpoint and everything he's doing, and he's a totally different person just from that time of us recreating him from here,
right,
in the mind. And that's just a powerful thing, man. So
man.
Great, man. We got 2 in the books, bro.
That's what's up, man. That's what's I enjoyed myself, man. I enjoyed myself.
In the books. Got to do this again. I'll let you pick the next topic.
All right, that's all good.
Like always, man, it's good talking with you. Give my goddaughter a kiss.
Will do, man. You give my goddaughter a kiss too, man.
In case y'all ain't know, man, yeah, we go back like 4 flats on the Cadillac.
Yeah, man. This is deeper than a lot, man.
Yes.
Deeper than a lot.
It's another complete show of Athletes Connection, man. Everybody have a good one.
Oh no, backward.